गिरिवरधारी यशोदनन्दन व्रज जन रञ्जन यशोदनन्दन व्रज जन रञ्जन यमुना तीर वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदनन्दन व्रज जन रञ्जन यमुना तीर वनचारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय कृष्ण बलराम जय वृंदावन धाम जय राधा श्याम सुंदर श्री राधे जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय जय जय प्रभुपाद निताय गौर हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल। श्री श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुम् उन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश। श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितां च। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणि निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणि। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. I welcome all the devotees today for this morning Bhagavatam class, and I offer my humble obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees here. Kindly bless me so that we can discuss these topics today's from this Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 49, and the title of this chapter is Akrūra's Mission in Hastinapur. So this is verse number 18 today. So, kindly recite after me. Dharmeṇa pālayann urvīṁ prajāḥ śīlena rañjayan vartamānaḥ sveṣu śreyaḥ kīrtim avāpsyasi dharmeṇa pālayan urvīṁ prajāḥ śīlena rañjayan vartamānaḥ samaḥ sveṣu śreyaḥ kīrtim avāpsyasi dharmeṇa pālayan urvīṁ prajāḥ śīlena rañjayan vartamānaḥ samaḥ sveṣu śreyaḥ kīrtim avāpsyasi dharmeṇa pālayan urvīṁ prajāḥ śīlena rañjayan vartamānaḥ samaḥ sveṣu śreyaḥ kīrtim avāpsyasi dharmeṇa pālayan urvīṁ prajāḥ śīlena rañjayan vartamānaḥ samaḥ sveṣu śreyaḥ kīrtim avāpsyasi dharmeṇa pālayan urvīṁ prajāḥ śīlena rañjayan vartamānaḥ samaḥ sveṣu śreyaḥ kīrtim avāpsyasi dharmeṇa pālayan urvīṁ prajāḥ śīlena rañjayan vartamānaḥ samaḥ sveṣu śreyaḥ kīrtim avāpsyasi माताएं dharmeṇa pālayan urvīṁ prajāḥ śīlena rañjayan vartamānaḥ samaḥ sveṣu śreyaḥ kīrtim avāpsyasi dharmeṇa pālayan urvīṁ prajāḥ śīlena rañjayan vartamānaḥ samaḥ sveṣu śreyaḥ kīrtim avāpsyasi dharmeṇa pālayan urvīṁ prajāḥ śīlena rañjayan vartamānaḥ samaḥ sveṣu śreyaḥ kīrtim avāpsyasi. Hare Krishna. Synonyms: dharmeṇa, religiously; pālayan, protecting; urvīṁ, the earth; prajāḥ, the citizens; śīlena, by good character; rañjayan, delighting; vartamānaḥ, remaining; samaḥ, equally disposed; sveṣu, to your relatives; śreyaḥ, perfection; kīrtim, glory; avāpsyasi, you will achieve. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. By religiously protecting the earth, delighting your subjects with your noble character and treating all your relatives equally, you will surely achieve success and glory. Is purported by the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Akrūra told Dhṛtarāṣṭra that even though he had usurped the throne, if he now ruled according to the principles of dharma and behaved properly, he could be successful. Hare Krishna. So this is a very wonderful chapter with lots of learning, both from spiritually as well as diplomatically, politically, how the great people behaved in this context. So as we have been hearing since couple of days, that Lord Krishna sends Akrūra to Hastinapur. And Akrūra was the first devotee also sent by Kamsa to Vrindavan. He was the first devotee sent by Kamsa to Vrindavan to bring Krishna and Balram. Before that, he was sending all the demons. And now, similarly, Lord Krishna is sending the first diplomat for this mission in Hastinapur. To get the first-hand information about what is happening in Hastinapur. How Dhṛtarāṣṭra, the blind king, is treating his Pandu's children and Kunti Devi. So Akrūra goes with this mission to Hastinapur, and he stays there for several months. It is described here that he stays in Hastinapur for several months. And if we actually observe how these great personalities behave with everyone, and he does not meet Dhṛtarāṣṭra in the first place. He meets first all the relatives and then inquires about their well-being. So he was sent to scrutinize the environment in the Hastinapur. So he meets each and every one. Mainly he meets all the important people first and the relatives. And then he meets Kunti Maharani, not alone, with Mahatma Vidur. So both Mahatma Vidur and Akrūra meets Kunti Maharani. And we have heard in the previous verse that how Kunti Maharani described the ill treatment of all the Kauravas and the Dhṛtarāṣṭra towards her children. And also Kunti Maharani prays very beautifully to Lord Krishna, when Krishna will come, whether Krishna remembers us. Inquires Akrūra, whether Balram remembers us. So Kunti Maharani was a great devotee of Lord Krishna. In Srimad Bhagavatam, the first prayers Sukadeva Goswami described was Kunti Maharani's prayers. Of course, this prayer in the previous verse was much before, and the prayers that were described in the first canto, 8th chapter in Srimad Bhagavatam is the later part. So after the war, after the Kurukshetra war. But this is before the war. So in this whole chapter there are 31 shlokas, and this chapter can be divided into mainly six parts. The first part is Akrūra goes to Hastinapur, meets relatives, stays there for several months, and Kunti Devi and Vidura describe ill intention of Dhṛtarāṣṭra. This is in the second part. And third part, Kunti Devi remembers Krishna, offers obeisances and cries in grief. And the fourth part is Akrūra approaches the king, appraises the king's attitude. This is towards the end of his journey. He meets Dhṛtarāṣṭra. And Dhṛtarāṣṭra's unchanging attitude, he could observe that Dhṛtarāṣṭra will not listen to the good words because of his deep attachment to his nasty sons. So Dhṛtarāṣṭra's unchanging attitude, and very interestingly, Dhṛtarāṣṭra offers praise to the Lord. This is very surprising to hear that how Dhṛtarāṣṭra, knowing everything about Supreme Lord, but still how he is behaving like this. He offers a very beautiful prayer as it is a great learned scholar. He was, of course. And the last part was, Akrūra returns to the capital and reports to Ram and Krishna. So in this journey towards Hastinapur and back to Mathura, Akrūra was meeting all the important personalities and all the Hastinapur projects and assessing the behavior of king towards their projects, subjects. Now in this verse, when Akrūra came to know that how Dhṛtarāṣṭra, being attached to his wicked sons, treating Kunti Devi and all Pandavas, he wanted to appraise the king and try to influence him with some good words. So here in this verse, Akrūra is telling Dhṛtarāṣṭra, if you now rule according to the principle of dharma and behave properly, you could be successful. And in later verses, he tries to convince Dhṛtarāṣṭra about dharma, how he should behave as a king, and what will be the consequence of ill-treating your own subjects. So these were all the nectarian words. Dhṛtarāṣṭra agrees that your words are nectarian. But because of my attachment to my sons, these words cannot influence me. This was the conclusion of Dhṛtarāṣṭra. So in Vedic history, there were all great kings and they were successful. They are very famous because they followed dharma. But with Dhṛtarāṣṭra, the whole problem of Dhṛtarāṣṭra was that because the whole problem of Dhṛtarāṣṭra was his deep attachment to his wicked sons. Well, his sons were the 101 sons. Dhṛtarāṣṭra has got 101 sons. All these sons were wicked and they were envious of Pandavas. They could not tolerate the strength, influence, good conduct, humility, and the subjects of Hastinapur were loving Pandavas. So all the sons of Dhṛtarāṣṭra, they could not tolerate this. And Dhṛtarāṣṭra was deeply attached to these sons, and that was his problem. So he used to sanction all that ill behaviors of his sons. And if you just look at the history of this Mahabharata, in the Kuru dynasty, Shantanu was a king, a great king, who married Ganga Mata and also Mata Satyavati. Bhishma was born out of Ganga Mata, Bhishma Pitamaha, and Satyavati had two children, One is Chitrangada and Vichitravirya. It was described that Chitranga was a very great warrior, very, very powerful. He could have been the king of, Hastinapur. He went all around the world and defeated the Asuras. Very, very powerful. But he had become very proud. So Bhishma Pitamaha instructed him several times, follow dharma. But he did not listen to Bhishma Pitamaha, the elder brother. That's why Bhishma Pitamaha did not want that Chitrangada should become a king. So, during the same time, there was one Gandharva named by the same name, Chitrangada. And he said, there is only one Chitrangada, that is me, Gandharva. So if you want to be Chitrangada, you fight with me. This Chitrangada, being very proud, he went with all his troops to fight with him. And he was defeated and killed. So Bhishma Pitamaha then has to select Vichitravirya as a king for Hastinapur. He becomes a king of a Kuru dynasty. And Vichitravirya, as we know in the history, married the two daughters of the Kashi Naresh, Ambika and Ambalika. And from Ambika, Dhṛtarāṣṭra was born. So Dhṛtarāṣṭra was sometimes called as Ambika Tanaya. And from the Vichitravirya and Ambalika, Pandu Maharaj was born. Although Dhṛtarāṣṭra was the elder son of Vichitravirya, but he was blind from the birth. So he had a strong will to be the next king of Hastinapur. But because he was blind, Vidura did not allow him. Okay, Vidura was another son of Vichitravirya. He did not allow Dhṛtarāṣṭra to become a king because he is a blind. According to Manusmriti, the king should have the eyes. If he does not have an eye, how he can show the direction to his subjects? So he objected. And then Dronacharya, Bhishmacharya made Pandu Raja as the king. So Dhṛtarāṣṭra became very envious of Pandu Raja. And he felt, my throne was bereft. My opportunity of becoming a king, although I am the elder brother, it was missed. So that was his worry. And Pandu Maharaj was a great king, very powerful, very skilled, from the military point of view. But he had a curse, and he could not survive for long. And he died in a very early age. And that's why Kunti Maharani, wife of Pandu Maharaj, became widow. And now Dhṛtarāṣṭra was made a temporary king. Because according to the principles, according to dharma, the Pandu Maharaj children should have been the next king. But because these children, Pandavas, were very small that time, so Bhishma Pitamaha and all the elders made a decision that Dhṛtarāṣṭra should be king, and Kunti Maharani, all Pandava, because they were small children yet, they should be under his protection. Dhṛtarāṣṭra has similarly worried now that I will not be a permanent king. So this throne will be again snatched out of me. That was his biggest worry. Although he was blind, he wanted to be king. So before all the Kauravas were born, Dhṛtarāṣṭra was deeply attached to his position as a king. And now after the Kauravas were born, the 100 children were born, he had a deep attachment for these children. If the children were good children, probably the history could have been something different. But all the Dhṛtarāṣṭra's children were wicked children, and he had a deep attachment to them. Dhṛtarāṣṭra has also one son. There was a maid servant who came from Kandhar. Madri Devi, Gandhari Devi brought her from Kandhar, and this maid servant, Dhṛtarāṣṭra had one child and one daughter. So his name was Yuyutsu. Yuyutsu was actually the son of Dhṛtarāṣṭra. So we have seen in Bhagavad Gita and also the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita and also Mahabharata, Yuyutsu fought against Kauravas on the side of Pandavas. He was on the side of Pandavas. So Dhṛtarāṣṭra was, because of his attachment to his children, and all his children were envious about the Pandavas. Dharmaraj, Arjun, Bhim, Nakul, Sahadev. They were not able to tolerate the influence of these Pandavas. And this was the big problem of Dhṛtarāṣṭra. Although Dhṛtarāṣṭra has got a very good association of Vidura, a great devotee of Lord, at several times Vidura instructed, in fact he was suggesting Dhṛtarāṣṭra with all the good words. Many times he suggested that, you just give up your sanctioning attitude towards your sons, because they were all wicked children, and this will become cause of fall of a king in Hastinapur. Was several times instructing, but he could not listen to Vidura. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is described at several places the power of association with a devotee. So there is a very beautiful shloka which shows that the association of a devotee, even for a fraction of a second, the benefit of this association is much bigger than the benefit one receives from the Swarga and the Moksha. So this shloka says, Tulayam lave napi na swargam na punartapi bhagavat sangi sangasya martyanam kim mutashishaha. Tulayam lave napi. So if we weigh the benefit of associating with a devotee for a fraction of a second, lava, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu describes the meaning of lava. According to astrological calculation, one lava means 1/11th of a second. So if you divide 1 second by 11, it becomes 0.09. 0.09 second association of a devotee. If you put that on one side of a weighing scale, and if you put another side, the benefits that one receives by going to Swarga, that association of a fraction of a second will become heavy, and the Swarga benefit goes up. Similarly, if we keep the benefits of moksha on one side of a weighing scale, and the fraction of association with the devotee on the other side, the moksha also goes up. becomes heavy. Sometimes it appears to be, hypocrisy. How is it possible? One fraction of a second. But the same shloka is there in Srimad Bhagavatam 3 times. It has appeared in 3 times. That's why Srila Prabhupada always used to say the purpose of building the temple is to giving association with the people. That's the only purpose. The books are giving the association to the people so that they will come to the temple, they will associate and they will become devotee of the Lord. So although Vidura was a devotee and he was instructing, he wanted that Dhṛtarāṣṭra should give up his deep attachment to his wicked son. But that could not heed him. Now similarly, Akrūra has come and he was telling Dhṛtarāṣṭra that if you follow the principle of dharma, you will become a famous king. Otherwise, one as a king will go to hell. So, with many good words, he tried to instruct Dhṛtarāṣṭra. So in Mahabharata, the dharma is described. What is meant by dharma? The Mahabharata says dharma consists securing prabhava, dharana, that is upholding all living beings, and ahimsa, non-violence, which are the foundation of good governance. Bhishma Pitamaha also instructed same words to Pandavas and Yudhishthira. Raj Dharma as a concept constitutes the judicious duties of a king towards his subjects. The basic concern of Raj Dharma is welfare of all the people. The king and kingship is associated with concept and concern of prajāḥ pālayann. In ancient Indian classics, the script of Raj Dharma was to ensure peace, justice and prosperity to all the people and welfare of all the jivas in the kingdom. It's not only the human beings, but everyone who is under the protection of the king should be treated equally, and the king's duty is to maintain peace, justice and prosperity. So with these intention of dharma, words of dharma, Akrūra is trying to instruct Dhṛtarāṣṭra, what is this dharma? And you should follow dharma. You should treat all your subjects equally. Now in Srimad Bhagavatam, there are many great kings, and also in Indian history and also across the world, there are some great kings who followed the principle of dharma. One such example is Prithu Maharaj. Prithu Maharaj wanted all his subjects should become devotees. If one becomes devotee, then naturally there will be peace, prosperity and equanimity among all the subjects. So Prithu Maharaj in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, in chapter 21, he instructs his subjects. He says, Aham dandadaro raja prajanam iha yojitaha rakshita vrattida sveṣu setushu stapita pratak. King Prithu continued, by the grace of Supreme Lord, I have been appointed the king of this planet, and I carry the scepter to rule the citizens, protect them from all danger, and give them employment according to their respective positions in the social order established by Vedic injunctions. So Prithu Maharaj was the king who was ruling according to dharma, and he was instructing dharma to his ministers and subjects. Similarly, in India there were Lord Rama and Chanakya and Chandragupta. Chanakya was a great minister of Chandragupta in Maurya times. How the Mauryas were defeated with one powerful saint, that is Chanakya, just following dharma. And because the Mauryas followed all the adharma, irreligious principles, they were destroyed. Similarly, towards south, about 500 years back, the Vijayanagar kings, in Karnataka and south side, they were the great kings, and Vidyaranya was their guru. They followed the principle of dharma. Hampi and all those places today we see, it's all because of those great kings. And all the great temples in south side were because of these Vijayanagar kings. They followed the principle of dharma. Similarly, recently, Prabhupada ji used to say, King Shivaji in Maharashtra was the last best king in India. He followed the dharma principles. And similarly, Akrūra is telling about the dharma. But Srimad Bhagavatam describes the superior dharma. Savai pumsam paro dharma gyato bhakti radokshaja ahetukya apratihata yayatma suprasidati. The highest principle of religion is worshipping Lord Krishna, becoming devotees of Krishna. The supreme occupation for all humanity is that by which men can attain to loving devotional service unto the transcendent Lord. Such devotional service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted to completely satisfy the self. Srila Prabhupada explains in this verse, we have purposely denoted dharma as occupation, because the root meaning of the word dharma is that which sustains one's existence. So in this verse, Prabhupada ji has described very nicely about the dharma. Bhagavad Gita concludes, the Lord concludes, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam raja aham tvam sarva papyubhyo mokshe shyami machucha. If you have seen Lord Balaji, Tirupati, so Lord Balaji has put his hands like this. So what is the meaning of this? Lord Balaji is, his hand is like this. One hand is pointing towards here. So this is the last verse of the Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna, Balaji, is telling, Sarva dharman parityajya, you just surrender unto me, to my lotus feet. I will protect you from all the sins. So this is the last instruction. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam raja. All the great devotees, the kings, and particularly Prahlad Maharaj and Dhruv Maharaj, who were the sons of a great king. Prahlad Maharaj offers beautiful prayers to Narsingh Bhagwan. Prahlad Maharaj says, Hey my Lord, in this material world, which is full of misery, and people in this world struggle to avoid these miseries by adopting some remedies. But finally these remedies themselves become much more miserable than the miseries themselves. So Prabhupada writes, remedies are more miserable than the miseries themselves in this material world. So Prahlad Maharaj offers very beautiful prayers. Yasmat priya viyoga sanyoga janma shokagnina sakalayo nishudayamanaha dukkaushadam tadapi dukkham taddiya aham bhuman brahmami vadame tavadashayogam. O Great One, O Supreme Lord, because of combination with pleasing and unpleasing circumstances, and because of separation from them, one is placed in a most regrettable position within heavenly or hellish planets. as if burning in a fire of lamentation. Although there are many remedies by which to get out of this miserable life, but any such remedies in the material world are more miserable than the miseries themselves. Therefore, O my Lord, I think that the only remedy is to engage in your service. Kindly instruct me in such service. So Prahlad Maharaj, being a son of a great king, he is praying the Lord. Similarly, Dhruv Maharaj performed a very severe tapasya, and the Lord personally was present to award him the benefits of his austerity. But when he saw the Lord, everything is futile in this world, he started thinking, I am the fool. I wanted to acquire, great kingdom and big opulence. But my Lord, I was a fool. You are like a jewel. But I was hankering for a broken piece of glass. And then he prays, Dhruv Maharaj, very beautiful prayers. Satyashisho hi bhagavan stava pada padmam ashishtatano bhajatah purushartha murte appeva marya bhagavan paripati dinan vachreva vatsakam anugraha katarosman. O my Lord, O Supreme Lord, you are the supreme personified from all benediction. Therefore, for one who abides in your devotional service with no other desire, worshipping your lotus feet is better than becoming a king. You see, if one becomes a king, there will be a lot of responsibility. You have to follow so many dharmas. But if one becomes your devotee, it is much better than to become a king. Oh my Lord, if one becomes your devotee, you will protect that devotee just like a cow protects his calf. That is the benediction of worshipping your lotus feet. To ignorant devotees like me, you are the causelessly merciful maintainer, just like a cow who takes care of newly born calf by supplying milk and giving it protection from attack. Very beautiful prayers. Dhruv Maharaj is offering these prayers. My Lord, I do not want anything. I just want to become your devotee. Similarly, Brahmaji, Lord Brahma, after the Brahma Vimohana Leela, Lord Brahma felt offended and came to offer prayers to the Lord. And Lord Brahma says, my Lord, devotional service unto you is the best path for self-realization. If someone gives up that path and engage in the cultivation of speculative knowledge, he will simply undergo a troublesome process and will not achieve his desired result. As a person who beats an empty husk of wheat which cannot get grain, one who simply speculates cannot achieve self-realization, his only gain is trouble. This is a very beautiful prayer Brahmaji offers. Śreyaḥ shrutim bhakti mudashyate vibho klishyanti ye kevala bodhalabdhaye tesam aso kle shalaye vashishyate nanyadhyatastu latushavaghatinam. If anyone gives up bhakti and tries to speculate or adopts any other means, it is just like, crushing the wheat, removing that grains and just crushing the cover of the wheat. Futile. So all these devotees in Srimad Bhagavatam prayed that my Lord, the best dharma is to become your devotee. And Vidura was a great devotee. Akrūra was a great devotee. With all this association and with their kind and good words, several times, frequently, still it could not influence Dhṛtarāṣṭra because of his deep attachment. Although Dhṛtarāṣṭra was a very learned person, when we look at the way he offers the prayer, he's a learned person. But his deep attachment to his wicked son was surpassing everything. And then that becomes the root cause for his fall down. Kunti Maharani also, great devotee of the Lord. It is actually described in Puranas that Kunti Maharani, being the aunt of Lord Krishna, although materially she was related, but she was a great personality because she knew that Krishna is not just my nephew, but he's a Supreme Lord. That's why Kunti Maharani is greatest personality. And it was said that Bhakti Ashray Swami Maharaj once, he was in Srimad Bhagavatam explaining, Kunti Maharani came to Vrindavan and took Krishna Balram to Kunti Bhoj, and she admitted both of them to the Sandipini school. So Kunti Maharani knew that Krishna was the Supreme Personality. Krishna Balram, not only my nephews, but they are great personality. So Kunti Maharani is also offering a beautiful prayer in this same Krishna Krishna Mahayogin Vishvatman Vishvabhavana Prapannam Pahi Govinda Shishu Vishvasiditam Nanyattava Padam Bhojat Pashyami Sharanam Rinam Bhipyatam Mrityu Samsarat Ishwarashyapa Vargika Namah Krishnaya Shuddhaya Brahmane Paramatmane Yogeshwaraya Yogaya Tvam Aham Sharanam Gata. These are the three beautiful prayers offered by Kunti Maharani in front of Akrūra to Lord Krishna. So I offer my obeisances unto you, Krishna, the supreme, pure, the absolute truth, and the super soul, the Lord of pure devotional service, and the source of all knowledge. I have come to your shelter. Hare Krishna. So, in this way, Akrūra returns to Hastinapura and reports back to Krishna and Balram about the attitude of Dhṛtarāṣṭra. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Dhṛtarāṣṭra Srimad Bhagavatam ki. If you have any question, comments, please. Yes, please.
Dhṛtarāṣṭra is, highly educated, intelligent, and he understood the message of Krishna, the importance of following dharma and respected Krishna. But still, due to strong attachment to his sons in the position that he couldn't become king, so his son should become king. So he just disregarded, although he's intelligent, good instruction. So what hope do we have with our attachments to overcome the wisdom of the Bhagavatam?
Thank you, Prabhuji. So, Prabhuji, is very nice question. Many times we see in this material world that people are knowledgeable, but for example, the person who smokes cigarette, he knows that it is bad, and it is also written on the pocket that cigarette smoking is injurious to health. If one smokes, he will be afflicted with cancer and all other diseases. He knows. Many times, many scholars, many learned people, they are occupying a very good position, but still they smoke, they drink. They know the effect of this because their senses are not controlled. They are given up to their senses. I have my own many relatives who are in good position. Although all the good instruction, they see that, many people who are smoking, they are affected by cancer or the diseases. They know this. And when you say, I know this is good not to smoke, but still I cannot, follow this. But the devotees who are actually the Krishna devotees, when they surrender to Krishna, their all senses are under the control of Rishikesha. And for such devotees, there is definitely hope that Krishna will take care of the senses of the devotees. But in case of Dhṛtarāṣṭra, although he was knowledgeable, but he was not surrendered to Krishna. He knew that the Krishna is Supreme Personality, but he was not surrendered to Krishna. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, in Samudra Manthan, there were two parties, the Asuras and Suras. Although the time was the same, place was the same, resources were the same for both the parties, but the Amrita only devotees got, and the demons did not get Amrita. Sukadeva Goswami asked this question, why is it so? Everything was same for both the parties. And he answered that just because they have Suras were the Suras, Devatas were surrendered to Krishna, and demons were not surrendered to Krishna. So Phale Vikalpa, the results are different for these two people. So the hope, I think, Prabhuji, is that if we are surrendering to Krishna and we are following the Bhagavad Gita and all the scriptures, Krishna will take care of us. And one very good hope in Srimad Bhagavatam is Putana. So, Sukadeva Goswami, this verse is a very powerful verse. Putana loka balagni rakshasim rudirashana jigam sayapaya haraye stanam datva pasadgatim kim punaha shraddhaya bhaktya krishnaya paramatmane. So he is asking, Kim punaha shraddhaya bhaktya? Putana loka balagni, Rakshasi, who was drinking the bloods of the small children, just dramatically she played like a mother and came to Krishna, and Krishna rescued her. If Putana can be saved just by acting like a devotee, and what to speak of devotee who comes early morning, who gets up early morning, offers praise to Krishna and follow the principle, there will be definitely hope. So I think from these verses, we can be hopeful that Krishna will take care of our senses and he will instruct us to be on good path.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for the wonderful class. You talked a lot about the devotion. So my question regarding that, so the only qualification to go back to Godhead is the pure devotional service, or the ultimate aim is to achieve the love of God, right? We have given so much importance in our tradition to sampradayas, like especially the 4 sampradayas. But as I said, the only qualification is love of God. So if someone who is not following any of the sampradaya, but he has achieved the pure devotional service, what would be his destination once he will leave his body?
Okay, according to Bhagavad Gita, the devotion, when it is offered, followed in parampara, is the right way to achieve to that highest, But in Vrindavan and many places we see that they may not be following any of these sampradayas, but they have a natural love for, Supreme Personality. So definitely Putana was not in any parampara, and she apparently came as a devotee dramatically, she was falsely. She just came to Krishna and Krishna delivered her. And with all that bad intention, she was delivered. And what to speak of such who are devotees but not in parampara, definitely Krishna will rescue them Krishna will deliver them. That's the hope. So this verse in Srimad Bhagavatam gives lot of hopes to everyone, thinking about the devotion and what would be the result of this. So whether one is in parampara but for the beginners, if you follow the parampara, it's an easy way to reach to that. But if you are not following parampara, sometimes, we may commit some offenses because of lack of knowledge. When the acharyas are there in parampara, they can instruct us properly. They can guide us, handhold us. But other than this parampara, there is no handholding. You are alone. And you are also not sure what kind of association you get, other than parampara. If you see in Gaudiya Sampradaya, Brahma Gaudiya Sampradaya, in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission, you will get all good association of devotees. And the standards are same for everyone. So it is very easy to follow the devotion. And you will also be informed about aparadha and, committing the offenses. If one, although has come to a very high position, but he commits any offenses towards any Vaishnava, he might, fall down. So there are examples in Srimad Bhagavatam. Shaubhari Muni, the great personality, he was all alone performing tapasya, sitting inside the Yamuna river, but fell down because of the offenses. So there are the parampara, the Lord has instructed that evam parampara praptim, imam rajarsya yudu. So one should follow the parampara so that it becomes easy for the novice and the beginners to follow and go to that highest path. Thank you. Thank you very much. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की, सब भक्तों की।